So good evening, everybody. Over here today we have Ahilya Devi Holkar students from Pune, and it's a PMC school, government PMC school, and I am doing my third year of fellowship with Teach for India. I am a transformational teaching fellow. I have worked with iTeach for a year, and I was a part of Teach for India as well. So today we have our students from joining from Ahilya Devi Holkar School, Pune. Let's start. We will be starting the science class today on acceleration. Hello, students. How are you doing? Okay, I'll just share my screen. Can you see my screen? Thank you, Sharmila, for giving me the heads up. Okay. Students, quickly, can I request all of you to tell me how are you feeling today? Which color is your heart today? Can you quickly write down your feeling depending upon the color of the heart? Okay. Can anyone come on off mute and express their feeling? Can I request Om to come off mute and express how is he feeling right now?
Yeah, Didi. So I am feeling like rainbow because if I see sometimes rainbow, so I feel very, I feel every emotions like because we have every color spotted in rainbow. So like I feel confident, I feel nervous, I feel happy, I feel bad, everything.
Thank you for sharing, Om. It's a great thought. Can I have Alfia to share for me? How is she feeling?
For today's class.
We're very excited for today's class. Thank you, Alfia, for sharing. I'll move forward with this. Can quickly Kartika or Sharmila read out the norms for the class?
First norm, be physically and mentally present in class. Second norm, raise hand if any doubts, any clarifications needed. Third norm, respect each other. Fourth norm, effective use of chat box. Fifth norm, take notes when necessary.
Thank you so much, Sharmila, for doing that for me. I think we already know these norms, so I'll quickly move forward with the class. Okay, can Amir or Rishi quickly come off mute and tell me what did we learn in the previous class? Quickly.
Yes. Okay, in the previous class, we have learned velocity and the difference between speed and velocity.
Okay, thank you, Amir, for sharing this. Can Om quickly tell me what is the difference between speed and velocity, or Rishi? Whosoever can go first. Okay, I'll wait for
Yeah,
a
Didi.
minute. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Rishi. Thank you.
Speed has doesn't direction, but velocity has direction.
Thank you so much, Rishi, for sharing. It was great hearing from you. Can Ganesh or Kartika come on mute and read out the definition which we learned in the previous class quickly?
Distance traveled by a body in the specific direction in unit time.
What is it called as? The speed plus direction is called as what? Ganesh?
Velocity, Didi.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. Okay, can we quickly write down today's objective in our copies? Today we will be able to understand the concept of acceleration. Can Ravindra or Shiva come off mute and quickly read the objective for everyone?
Objective. Students will be able to explain the concept of acceleration.
Thank you so much, Shiva. Can we quickly write down on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Can you give me a thumbs up if you have written in your copies? Okay, I can see a lot of thumbs ups. Thank you so much. Okay, so today to learn about acceleration, tell me something. Have you seen these figures somewhere? Yes, I am. Do you want to tell me where have you seen these?
Didi, I can't write objective.
Oh, you were not able to write? No problem. You can actually take notes from your friend. Okay. At the bike, Ganesh is saying from at the bike he has seen. Okay. Can anybody else come off mute and tell me where have you seen these figures? Yes, Anjali, go
Didi,
ahead.
I had seen in bikes, car, like I had seen on that.
Perfect, Anjali.
And
Thank
it
you
is
for
daily.
responding. Yes, yes, go ahead. Okay, Anjali, can you tell me
And
one more thing? Over here, yes, over here, what is the difference between two?
Didi, I can see that in the right left one, I can see the 80 kilometer per hour. It is written, and in aside, I had seen the 89, but I am so confused about like what is it. But I think so that it is the like how our speed is there, speed.
Perfect. It shows us the speed, it shows us the velocity if the direction is not changing, if the direction is constant. What if I am driving, okay, and my speedometer, it is called a speedometer. What if my speedometer is showing 80 kilometer per hour when I'm driving at 5 o'clock, okay? And after half an hour, I can see that my speedometer is showing 89. That is my speed or velocity if the direction is not changing. What are you able to understand over here, Ganesh? Can you tell me what are you able to understand? What is happening over here?
The speed is increasing.
Increasing. Thank you so much, Ganesh, for responding. The speed is increasing, or we can say the velocity is increasing. We are increasing the velocity. Can I say that velocity is changing as well? Can you give me a thumbs up if you are able to understand? Okay, Didi, if the speed is increasing, then the velocity is changing because there is a change in velocity. Thank you so much. I can see a lot of thumbs ups. We'll move forward. Okay, what I'll do is we will watch this. We will understand what do you mean by acceleration by small stimulation. Okay, so here are two robots. Okay, one's name is Arvind and other's name is Ruthi. Okay, these are two robots who are running. Okay, who are running, who are racing to reach the elevator first. Elevator means lift. Okay, now let's see who reaches the elevator, the lift first. Okay, let's observe this. Okay, can anybody tell me who reaches the elevator first?
The blue robot.
The blue robot. Thank you so much. Why do you think he is reaching the elevator first? Why not the red robot? Okay, can Kartika reply? Can I ask Kartika to reply? Why do you think so? Amir says his speed is increasing. Can I say Amir his velocity is increasing because it was in the straight path and there was no direction change? It means his velocity is speeding up. Can we say that? Or change in velocity? Thank you so much, Ganesh, for replying. Yes, Kartika is saying same. Okay. Let's do this with the graphs. Okay, let's see how will the graph look like. Okay, there are two robots who are running. Okay, now let's see. What I've done is now the red robot, the orange robot, I have actually increased his speed. I have actually increased his velocity. Now look at the graph. Let's look at the graph that how are we able to understand who will reach the elevator first. Okay, let's see this. What I'll do is I'll again play it so that you are able to understand and observe properly. Okay, now can I ask you, can any one of you come off mute and tell me what did you observe? Can Amir come off mute? Okay, Kartika is saying in the first diagram that the velocity is decreasing. Okay, Ganesh is saying the red robot will win the race. Can Amir tell me if he is okay, or he can type it in the chat box? Okay, anyone else wants to go ahead? Okay, can I ask Shiva?
What, Didi?
What do you think? What is the difference between both of them? What is happening over here?
Velocity changing according to time.
Velocity. Velocity is changing according to time. Thank you so much, Shiva. Can I ask anybody why is the graph showing like this? What is this region? In this region, what is happening? Why is the other region, different from this region? Yes, Anjali, you're raising hand. Go ahead.
Maybe I am thinking that when its origin was zero, its speed was zero, then it's increasing, and its speed go to the
Perfect. So you are able to understand that he is starting from zero, and over here you can see the velocity is increasing. Thank you so much, Anjali. Can you tell me what is happening over this region? Velocity is constant. Ganesh is saying the velocity is not changing with time. Perfect. That sounds good. What about this region? What about the last region? What about the last region? Okay, Amir is saying, Amir is typing in the chat box that the velocity is decreasing over here. So can I say that over this point, can I say, I'll just change the color. Can I say over this point and this point, there is change in velocity? Can I say that? And because of which, what is happening? He is actually increasing the velocity, then he is maintaining the velocity for some period of time, and then he is again decreasing the velocity. Perfect. Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. Let's start. I'll just give me a minute. Okay, then we'll come back. And now, can you draw a tick mark over the point you think is correct according to the graph? What do you think the graph is showing? Can you tick mark on the graph? Okay, Sharmila is saying the velocity is constant. Then Kartika is saying the velocity is increasing. Okay, we have velocity constant. We have some of you are saying velocity is increasing. Okay. We have Amir saying that velocity is increasing. We have Shiva saying velocity is increasing, and we have a lot of people. Okay, now there is a debate going on that some things that velocity is constant and something that velocity is increasing. Can anyone who is saying velocity is increasing come off mute and tell me why do you think the velocity is increasing? Can Kartika do that? Yes, Kartika is raising hand. I can see that. Go ahead. I can't hear you, Kartika. I think we can't hear you, Kartika. Okay,
Right
now we can hear you. Yes, you can. Yes, you are audible. Yes.
in diagram we can see that time is increasing or
Time is increasing with. What about the velocity? Velocity is increasing or decreasing, or it is constant? Still confused?
Yeah.
No problem. It's okay. It's okay to be confused. Om, do you want to take a try?
Yeah, Didi. Didi,
Yes.
I am from velocity is increasing side because according to the graph, I can see that the timeline is going up, right? And velocity's line is vertical. So according to that, this is velocity is increasing like this. So I can tell that velocity is increasing.
Perfect. If I label them, can we see when the time is increasing, then our velocity is also increasing? Perfect. Can we see that? So what is the answer to this thing? That the velocity is increasing. Let's study another graph, okay? I hope over here you will be able to understand. Can you tell me what is happening over here? It's very easy. Come on. Okay, I can see people are writing that velocity is constant. Sharmila is saying velocity is constant. Again, Om is saying velocity is constant. Perfect. Shiva is saying velocities. Every one of you are saying the velocity is constant. Now we know how to read the graph. That sounds good. Let's move on to the last question, okay? I will just clear all the drawings. And then last, what do you think in this graph? What is happening? Velocity is decreasing, increasing, or it is constant? A lot of you are saying that velocity is decreasing. Can any one of you tell me why do you think the velocity is decreasing? Ganesh, do you want to take a try? Okay, over here, if it is 3, it's starting from this point, it is not starting from origin, and because of which we can see over here it is decreasing. With time, the velocity is decreasing. Perfect. I think we are all agreeing to this. Let's proceed. So, according to the definition, today we are learning about change in velocity, okay? So, the change in velocity with respect to time, whatever we did was to learn about acceleration. So, acceleration means change in velocity with respect to time. When there is change in velocity, when the velocity is changing, there is also another factor, that is time is also changing. That is called as acceleration. Okay. Now, with the stimulation, we did the graph, we did everything. Now, I have two predictions. According to me, I think मुझे ये समझ में आया है. I think I know this. Prediction and observation. I have written down two prediction and observation depending upon whatever I have learned. Okay. One prediction says increase in velocity is called as acceleration. Other prediction says when there is change in velocity, then it is called acceleration. What do you think? Which prediction and observation do you think is correct according to you? Quickly, okay, a lot of you have understood that if there is change in velocity, then it is called as acceleration. It can be increase in velocity or it can be decrease in velocity. That sounds great. Anjali is raising hand. Do you have a doubt, Anjali?
No, Didi, I want to tell why I had choose that.
Go ahead, Anjali.
Okay. Can you clear the it because I want to read also.
Perfect. Yeah.
In that when there is a change in velocity is called acceleration. So I think that we can only see in velocity. So what is meant by velocity? Velocity means the speeding up or speeding down or the direction is changing. So in the first prediction we have seen that increase in velocity is called only not increasing only. The velocity is not always increasing. That we can't. It is not acceleration, right? It is acceleration, but the second one is right. When there is the change in velocity, like in that meaning of it is like it is speeding up also and speeding down also. So it is the answer for you.
Anjali, thank you so much for this detailed concept. I think this is the this is the slide I wanted to understand, that if I am accelerating because I'm speeding up, I am accelerating because I'm slowing down. If I'm changing the velocity, increasing the velocity, acceleration, decreasing the velocity, acceleration. Yes, it is called as negative acceleration, but the acceleration is happening. And last is, as you told Anjali, that I am accelerating because my direction is also changing. Can quickly someone tell me, why do you think if there is change in direction, then also you are accelerating? Did they are changing the direction? Why I am accelerating? Om, yes, go ahead.
So, Didi, can you hear me? I am audible.
Yes, yes.
So, according to the velocities description or velocities meaning, we know that speed plus direction is velocity. So, if speed changes, the velocity changes. If direction changes, velocity changes. And if we change velocity, we change acceleration. If we change direction, we change
Perfect.
velocity, we change acceleration.
Thank you so much, Om. It was really good explanation. Thank you so much. So now we have understood how is there a change in velocity which leads to acceleration. Perfect. What we are going to do is, in our breakout rooms, what we'll do, because we have less time, okay? It's a very short class today. What we'll do, we will take this question as a homework. Is the object accelerating? And you will put it in the WhatsApp group. We will solve only this question. I'll explain this question in 1 minute, and then I'll put you in the breakout room so that you are able to discuss among yourselves how is the acceleration happening. So acceleration describes how an object's velocity is changing. Which of the following scenarios provide the best example of an accelerating object? We have 4 options over here. Out of 4 options, you have to select which object do you think is accelerating. Okay. Can I request you to on the breakout rooms? Okay. Can we start with the conversation?
Now can we start? Guys, who did think like whose answer? Which do you think that which option is right for acceleration?
I think that third one, or train traveling in a circle.
I think third, a toy train traveling in the circle. But can anybody tell that why why that only that option is right? Can anybody tell? That
Because
I'm only confused. So
because it's changing his direction and speed. I think.
uh, I have a question for you. That why we cannot put the fourth one, the toy boat floating in a bathtub? Because it is floating. It can change
Yes.
its direction whenever it wants, and also time.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why we can't say that it is acceleration.
Yes.
Actually, we can say that it is accelerating, because if the toy, there is a water in this surface, right? And there is a boat upon it. It can move. It can change its direction like this, or it can go back black. Right?
But it can change its direction whenever that toy want or it's time.
Home.
Um, we are so confused in two options. So I think so that third one is right. Also fourth one also.
Third.
So okay. So I think that I am like I am thinking that the both one is right, third and fourth. That the third one wants to say that the toy train is traveling in a circle. So if we turn left or right or any else place, so I'm speaking Hindi that I am so अभी हम turn ले रहे हैं so turn तो हम थोड़ा speed down तो speed down also, so then the velocity is changing, so it can be acceleration. And how Om had told that the fourth one, it is also right, but which is the right, the both one is right for me. So
I have so according to my last answer, I have think on that, but that fourth one is wrong actually. Third one is right. Boat is floating. Yeah, it's floating, right? But it needs a external power. But a toy train is have its own power, so it is moving around the circumference and changing the direction. But a boat needs external power, and toy train don't need external power. It use its own power. So I think third one is right, maybe.
It also
yeah,
changes
I also think
direction
now
plus speed.
I'm not giving us in more in that point. I'm
Okay.
also
Okay, let's come back. We will wrap it out. What do you think is the best example of accelerating object? Which option? Fourth one?
Third one.
Third one. Because the toy train is traveling in circle. Why?
Because it's changing its direction plus speed.
Because it is changing its direction plus it is changing its speed. I don't know if it's changing its speed, but it is definitely changing the direction because it is moving in the circle, and you definitely know that. That's really good. So we were able to come on the conclusion. It's really nice. High five to all of you. Perfect. So over here we are done with the class. Okay, I will be sending you the exit slip which will act as an attendance for you for this class. I will send the exit slip in the WhatsApp message.
now, Didi.
Yes. Now you can actually drop out of the call. Thank you so much guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed the class. Bye guys. Bye.
You can send a form again.
But Didi, there was class till 5:35, no?
No, actually we needed to wrap up early so that we have a personal conversation going after this, a small personal conversation.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
get back to you. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, Didi.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Monica and Kit, so much for this beautiful lesson. And I'm really happy to just be here and sort of debrief this lesson with you, right, Monica? I think like what I would love to hear from you and for the audience as well, just to zoom out and say, what do you want to create for your kids? What are the outcomes that you're working towards, and how does this lesson connect to that?
So frankly speaking, I really want my students to actually build, they should be independent learners. To build student leadership, I believe that they should be able to learn independently. And because of that, I think they should be challenged enough. And for challenging them, I believe that they should understand how to go about it. So for that, I think we need to build a lot of confusion. Even though I want them to be the independent learners to come up to a same topic, but for coming on the same topic, they really need to be confused. Okay, what do you think is the best way to go about the problem? And so challenging and confusion will lead to what I believe is lead to the overall vision in my classroom. And I believe that it came out really, in a good way to build in the classroom. Yes.
Yeah. And so speaking of this lesson and what came out, right? So if you could share like the progress in this lesson, what do you think worked well that is giving you confidence that yes, children build those skills? And if you are to do the lesson again, what might you tweak or change about this lesson?
Okay, so first of all, I believe that meaningful conversations in the class, like debating, not in a debate manner, but also, open to perspective what the other students are saying, which will lead to a lot of confusion in the class. But, I'm okay with that because at last I know that my kids will be building a lot of skills like the communication skills, the critical thinking, building of curiosity, creativity, coming on to the solution. So I think these are the 4 C's I'm actually working on to make them independent learners. And if I had to tweak the lesson, it will be more about, real life applications. And also, as you know, that acceleration involves a lot of formulas, then how to solve the formulas. So, and inculcating that as well, how can we do that? And also building real life examples with that.
I think some of the things that were really strong in your lesson today was the interaction that children had, right? So the chat was active, children were also giving you feedback. In the group discussion, they were also telling each other that I don't think this is wrong. Maybe you should think of another question. And so I think I would like to talk a little bit more about what you shared about confusion and challenge. In one of the chats also, somebody had shared that challenging kids is good for critical thinking. So can you talk about how have you created a culture where children feel okay with making mistakes, okay with confusion, and enjoy challenges?
Okay, so for this, I believe they know in science class there will be confusion. So I believe I don't give them perfect answers. First, they need to come up with the answers. They know that, okay, Didi will be showing us, Didi will be challenging us. And after that, if we are not, coming up to the certain point, then Didi will be explaining. So they know in the science class that there will be no such explanation. Okay, Didi is coming and Didi is directly explaining. They know, okay, Didi will put us in a challenge situation and then we need to observe, we need to predict what will happen, and then finally we will come to the solution as a group. So I think there is a lot of, critical thinking and inquiry based learning in the classroom, which has led to this culture.
And what are some things that you are doing as a teacher in your the past 2-3 years of experience? How have you done your research? How have you learned so that you can create this for your children?
I think consistency is the key. Even though you have a lot of research, even though you have everything, unless and until you are consistent with everything, so they know right now the structure. Okay, so I think structure building is really important, and consistency is the key to that. If you're not consistent, then kids will be, they will be confused at what is happening around. I don't know how can I do that. So, being consistent to the lessons, okay, if this is the structure of the lesson, so this should be, and I'm not creating a different structure for a different class. I think that has helped me a lot.
And so when you think of consistency and structures, and your session also had a lot of technology and interactive tools and everything involved. In this pandemic, it's become very difficult for children to access technology, right? And so could you share a little bit about your experience in the pandemic? How do you teach science with children who don't have enough technology? What have been some of your learnings with that?
Okay, so actually we created a peer support system group where what happens is, so there is a group leader. That group leader has this, skill of building, if someone is not attending the classes, he will reach out to them asking what is happening, why are you not, even though if they have some technology issue, even though they are not able to come to the classes because of internet pack, we had made sure that everyone is reaching these people And if they have any doubt, so we also have office hours in our classroom only. So for example, if students are having doubt, they can't come on the Zoom, it's fine. We send asynchronous packets for science which includes a lot of experiment based learning as well. So they have to experiment something. First of all is they need to experiment something, and then they have to come to the conclusion. And to come to the conclusion, they need to fill the exit slip, because I should also know that if they are doing or not. And if they are not doing, so we have peer support system group to reach out to them that what happened. So I think main thing in this pandemic is to empathize with them, to understand what they are going through, and depending upon that, making a small little structures in the class. I think it's the best time to experiment new things. So by experimenting only, I have learned a lot in this pandemic.
Okay. And so what I was gathering from you is that even when children don't have access, can they learn from peers who are living nearby with them? And the other thing I'm pulling out is that it need not always be on technology, but simple experiments that they can do with objects at home, learn and share, but they share their learning with you and you've built that culture with them, right? And so while we talk about that, again, would love to hear a little bit more about your teaching practice. What are some things that you have been reading or talking to or trying? You did mention consistency as an approach, but any instructional strategies or approaches that you will recommend to other teachers?
Yeah, so there are a lot of small strategies. If you see on the screen, they will ticking. So I know, so in the virtual background, what happens over here is you don't know which kid is actually attentive and, somewhere lost. So when they are ticking, I am able to understand that, okay, this kid has some problem. Maybe we need to clarify again. So the small thing over there, you can see what are they thinking right now, what is their approach. The smaller things have made it like successful. Or you can also say like putting a small student names on the PPT has helped me a lot. So if I cold call, if they are watching something, for example, they're watching simulation, they knew that Didi will ask us because our name is on the PPT, so they will concentrate on the stimulation. So I think these are the small things. And last is challenge them. If you are challenging your kids, if you have trust with them, I think they can do a lot. I have learned so much from them. So I think that's the point I wanted to bring in.
Yeah, there's a question on the chat which is coming up a few times, that how do you cater to children when they're large numbers? So if there's like 35 kids, 40 kids, how are you still doing that? Any suggestions?
It's a really good question. So I believe you can divide the class with, low scale, high will, low scale. It's a rubric with which you can divide your class, and you can put the students accordingly in all the quadrants and make the peer support group. I think peer learning is the key right now. You can't reach out to every kid because you are the only teacher. So I think peer learning has supported me a lot, and small discussions in the breakout room also gives you an idea who is thinking in what way and has he or she understood that thing. So I think peer learning, like,
yeah. Right. Final question from me. You started talking about critical thinking and the way to get kids to really think and be creative, as well as having challenges. And you're very passionate about science. You're teaching your kids like sometimes 8th grade and 9th grade concepts and so on. So can you just zoom out and share with us, what do you believe that learning science will do for our children in the long term, and why that's so important for you as a teacher?
I think first of all, learning science explains us that you should not be, worried about your failures, because if you see science, a lot of scientists have discovered a lot of things, but before that they failed so many times. So just to have this clarity, science gives you an opportunity to fail, and it's okay to fail, because there will be some point where you are actually going around and telling that this is what I have achieved. So I believe that science is really important, because in the real life application also you see with the smallest thing you know that there is science involved. So I think this would be my closing sentence, that science gives you an opportunity to fail in life, and it's okay to fail. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that really beautiful response of learning from failures. And once again, thank you for this amazing lesson. And over to you, Ashwath.